Hi everyone, I'm Khateri, and today I wanted to share with you guys the reason why I became a realtor at the age of 18. Now, I am now 19, of course. I didn't just become a realtor, but I'm still super young. But stick with me and I'll show you why I went down this career path. Also, if you guys watched my previous videos, I have kind of a studio now, so that's really cool actually. It's not exactly perfect, like you can see this light right here. I'm working on it, just relax. The first big reason why I became a realtor is because of my actual bad experiences with other awful realtors in the past. Growing up, I saw the difficulties that my parents had to face when trying to buy a home, and they didn't speak that much English. People took advantage of them. It was overall an awful experience, and they just didn't really get what they wanted out of a realtor. They definitely dealt with realtors who were more interested in making a quick buck and, getting that sale to the finish line compared to, finding them their dream home. And at the time, I was too young to be able to change any of that, but I was still conscious enough to realize that, hey, this person isn't a good fit for us. But I just kind of had to sit there and watch as my parents went through this struggle and this incredibly stressful process of buying a home. I mean, it is the biggest purchase of your life after all. And around that time, I realized that there was a genuine need for realtors who actually had the best interests of their clients at heart. I wanted to be someone who could help someone find their dream home and make the home buying process easy, just like how I wish my parents went through this. I saw a specific field, which is real estate, where I had a genuine interest in, was passionate about, and I had a natural knack for, and I kind of just went head first. I was determined to learn basically anything and everything I could about the industry, and to use all of my knowledge to basically just help people that didn't really know what they were doing, didn't know how to help themselves, and I wanted to help families make memories in a space that they could actually call their own. I think that my own personal experiences have given me a kind of unique perspective, or at least a perspective that isn't seen by the general public. I am here as a realtor to make the home buying process as straightforward, no nonsense as possible, because that is what you are hiring me for. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned financing veteran pro, I am here regardless to help. And now the second reason, which I know a lot of you probably wanted to say it first, it's because of the money. Now, just to be clear, it is a sales job like any other sales job. It is about how much work you put in. It is about how good you are at selling homes. I personally saw real estate as not only a way to make families' lives better, but also as a financially lucrative and viable path to financial independence and success. I have been drawn to the idea of building wealth through real estate since I thought it was a smart investment decision. And as I learned more about real estate, I realized that the amount of financial independence, financial gain, the potential for growth, it was really unmatched compared to any other sector. And I saw how smart investments, deep knowledge, and holding an asset basically forever would lead to extremely stable financial success. There's not many scenarios where you buy a house, keep it in decent condition, and wait 30 years, and it doesn't quadruple 5 times, 10 times in price by then. So I wanted to use my passion for finance, real estate, business, as well as tech to improve not only the lives of others, but I also want to put myself in a healthy position as well. So I worked hard. I worked hard to understand the ins and outs of the real estate markets, calculations, I'm big on calculations, and just figuring out how to get the best deals for people. I studied market trends, housing factors, and economic factors that impacted the entire industry. I developed kind of a keen eye, I guess you could say, for investment properties, as well as good deals out there on the market. And through lots of trial and error, reading books, practicing, my skills as a negotiator also shot up. And with each passing day, I'm just slowly gaining more and more experience, whether that be through literal experience or mentorship, education, books, etc. And by the way, I should make this very clear. I am not making that much money. I should definitely be upfront. I think financial transparency is an extremely important factor in all this. Again, I am 19 years old. I am a full-time university student for computer science as well. I have student loans. That is just a simple fact. I am hoping this time next year, I'm going to be making around 70K, which is an average of about one house every 30 to 45 days sold, which, by the way, the average realtor sells less than 3 houses a year. All right, the third big reason why I became a realtor is for the connections. Networking is one of the most important aspects of building a career, professional growth, and it allows individuals to, make connections and expand their network. I would say this applies more than ever to realtors specifically, because most of our job is just knowing the right people. For example, if I didn't know Denise Smith, who is an incredible realtor and probably the top 20 in the entire state of Virginia, I would have had contracts fall through. I would not have picked the right provide inspectors for jobs. My own career would probably be heavily off path. And just because of that one connection, and she's a very dear friend to me, I have avoided making so many mistakes that probably would have costed deals, would have costed thousands of dollars, or would have derailed my life. Another example is Tyler Hupka. He is a loan officer that works directly upstairs from me. One of the CEOs, Sean, actually introduced me to him within the first week I was there, and almost every deal that I have done has been with Tyler. If I have any type of finance related question, I text or call Tyler, he answers immediately. I have texted him about TikTok ideas at midnight because I just want to make sure I'm getting my facts right. Because at the end of the day, he is in charge of finances and I am in charge of finding the house. So he is an invaluable asset, and again, it was purely because I made a connection. And I also know next year when I'm going to buy my own house, I'm going to him because he is one of the best in the business. Having a diverse network can also help how you approach new problems. It can give you a brand new perspective on things if you just ask the right people. For example, if you're in the technology sector and you encounter someone in fashion, they could give you a brand new approach on how to solve whatever problem you're dealing with because they have a completely different mindset and a way to look at life. By forming connections with people in the same industry or different, you are going to learn invaluable knowledge. You are also going to avoid making mistakes that they previously have made in their lifetimes. And you're also going to just straight up be able to get help from them. For example, a lot of my coworkers I have done open houses for. I would never have asked them if I didn't previously know them. They never would have suggested it to me if they didn't know who I was. But because I knew them, they offered to let me host their open houses, and I've met clients that way. Another example is simply because I've talked to the head of the relocation department before. Whenever they have rental leads, which they don't really handle, they give them to me. Well, not only me, but you get the point. These connections I am making right now will last a lifetime. They will benefit me in any way possible. I now know the best contractors in my area. So if I ever have a problem, I know who to call instantly. I know the best loan officers. I know the best realtors in different states. I know the best banks. I know how to build credit. I know the best markets for investing. The connections might have been the most valuable part out of all of this. And having a strong network of people makes it easier to stay on top of the latest trends, developments, changes in the market. You are usually going to be one of the first people to know. And let's say that one day I don't want to be a real estate agent anymore. I now have a plethora of connections I can call. For example, Tyler, his wife is in the tech sector. You know, I could just maybe ask her for some suggestions. My friend Jacqueline, she used to be a nurse. If I ever want to be a nurse, I now have a connection. Weird stuff like that. By the way, if you are looking for a realtor, I'm more than happy to represent you. Go and DM me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. All three are in the description below. I check all of them daily, so I will respond. I personally work out of Northern Virginia, but I have friends anywhere and everywhere in the world that I could hook you up with. And of course, free advice that I can always give. And before we go, please take a moment to subscribe. Currently, 91% of my watchers aren't subscribed, which is a crazy high number, and I'm only at 370 subscribers. I also have another channel where I mess with virtual reality, as you can see by that headset right there, so go subscribe to that one too. Okay, now back to the video. So the fourth big reason why I chose real estate specifically is because I wanted to still pursue university. I needed a flexible job that would allow me to take my university classes and I would not get fired for not showing up to work. At the time, I was actually enrolled at a community college to get my associates in computer science. I was 17 when I enrolled, and I believe I was into my second or third semester when I desperately needed to work, and I managed to get my real estate license because I just turned 18. And guess what? I was able to do both at once. I was able to pursue my associate's degree, and I did get it actually, and I obviously am still an agent, and now I am currently pursuing my bachelor's degree at University of Mary Washington for computer science. And guess what? I'm still a real estate agent and I am still working around my schedule. However, I soon discovered that being a realtor did not come without major financial challenges starting out. There's high fees, high subscriptions, and overall extremely ludicrous costs associated with just being a realtor. I definitely underestimated how much money you needed starting out. You probably need around $3,000 to even start working before paying your exams, courses, fees, subscriptions, whatever. And then at least least $500 to $600 a month to continue being a real estate agent. There's also a certain level of commitment that you kind of have to have in order to succeed, because 87% fail within the first 3 years. There's also, maybe associated with what I just said, an insane amount of competition overall. I think during the COVID boom, where interest rate was 2-3%, everyone wanted to become a realtor because they saw how, not easy, but you know what I mean. Everyone just wanted to be a realtor during that time period. So I think that a lot of people, me included, in all honesty, started studying during that period, but then interest rates went up to 5-6%, housing market completely shifted, and that's when we managed to actually pass the exams, So we joined at really awkward timing where there's an insane amount of new competition now, but now nobody wants to buy or sell. So, and you have to think about it. If 87% quit within the first 3 to 5 years, that means you have to be better than 90% of the people to succeed. If there is 10 people in a room, you have to confidently say you are better than 9 of them. That is extremely difficult to say for almost everybody. And even then, I currently have some doubts myself. Despite these challenges, I wanted to make it work. I knew this is what I wanted to do. So I was pretty determined to enter the world of real estate as an agent. All right, the 5th reason is being able to work from home. Because of the flexible schedule, you don't have to go to a specific place from 9 to 5. Some realtors do, but it's not required. My brokerage specifically allows me to come in when I want to. They encourage office hours, but it's not a requirement. It also saves me time and money on things like commuting, and it just lets me work around my school a lot easier, which is I'm so thankful for. And a lot of my work is also social media, which doesn't really need a location. Now, the flip side to this is a lot of the time you need to have constant communication with your clients, your coworkers, your boss, and being in office would make that easier, 100%. But also, texting and email exist. So I also noticed that I'm a lot more productive at home, despite what standard for most people. Most people get more productive in office, but it's the opposite for me because I have so much equipment here at my house. I have 2 to 3 monitors, I have this laptop, I have just a plethora of equipment that I can utilize to make me more efficient. I don't have that in my office. I can only take this into my office. So that's why I value flexibility so much, because I know what works with me, and that definitely doesn't apply to everyone. I know what makes me most efficient, I know what saves me the most time, and I know what works and what doesn't for me specifically. All right, and I'm gonna end this off with some of the challenges of being a realtor. I mentioned some of them already, but admittedly there is more still. So like I mentioned previously, crazy high costs. I already mentioned the figures, but you need to basically have a part-time job or some serious support behind you in order to succeed at first. There's also a very large amount of stress and pressure when doing these transactions because, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, this is the biggest purchase any person will ever make in their lives, at least normally. These homes in my area average at around $425,000. That is like 10 times the amount of how much university costs. This is the biggest purchase of their lives, and it needs to be treated with the utmost delicacy, care, and a realtor must be able to handle rejection. They must be able to handle setbacks. They must be the bearer of bad news. I cannot describe the amount of stress that a person experiences when it's midnight, an offer is due at 6 a.m. You can't get a hold of anyone to finalize some certain terms. The inspections aren't scheduled. It's not really happening. The inspection comes up with something very serious that costs 40 grand and you have to now bring the news. There's a lot that could make the average person spiral pretty easily. And also the unpredictability of income. There will be entire months where you never see a single check. There will be months where you get no deals, no nothing, even after still going in for the same 8 to 9 hours a day, maybe even 12 hours a day, you will just not get results sometimes. And other months, you'll have 4 deals in 1 month, and you'll make 30 grand in 1 month, and then nothing for 5 months straight, and then maybe another 10K, or $200 even from a rental. It is a roller coaster of financial stability until you are settled at the top. So by now you should know why I decided to become a realtor at 18 years old and my experiences so far. Anyways, this channel is all about making educational and entertaining finance content, so subscribe down below and hit the bell if you enjoyed this video. And finally, don't forget to go down to the description and DM me if you need a realtor. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, I respond to all of them. All right, that's it. Have a nice day.